In this video, we'll be adding the ability to challenge our phone or iPad. However, before we do that, I noticed that my code from the last video has a published property that's not being used. In game service, the moves taken array isn't used. It's from some of my old notes, so you can remove it. This will also require that you remove it from the reset function as well. So let's commit those changes now to the two-player branch. And now we're ready for today's lesson. So let's create a new branch from this one, and we'll call it Challenge Device. When we want our iPhone or iPad to make the next move, we can do that programmatically by calling the makeMove function, not by tapping on a button, but rather determining a random index from the remaining moves and then pass it along to the makeMove function. This will happen very quickly, so to provide us some feedback that this is happening, I'm going to simulate the device thinking by displaying a progress view. In the game service class then, add a new published property and call it isThinking and initialize it as false. Next, create a new function called deviceMove, and we're going to have it pause for a short period of time before picking an available square to make the move. So this is going to be an asynchronous function, so mark it as async. When we first call this function, we'll toggle the isThinking property. And then we'll initialize an asynchronous sleep function using the try await and use the task.sleep for, let's try 100,000 nanoseconds. Now once it awakes from sleep, we can select a random element from the possible moves array. And this will be optional, although it never really will be. We can use an iflet to unwrap it. Now I need to know the corresponding index of this move as it relates to the full move.all array. So again, we'll use another iflet to assign to a matching index property the moveAll's first index, where the first one matches our move. When we have that, then we can make our move at that matching index. And then once our move's been made, we can toggle that isThinking property. So we can revisit our setup game function now, and where we have the case where we're now challenging the device, which is bot, we can create a different name for our player 2, which will be the device. So in this case, when we're challenging the device, we can assign to the player2.name the UI device current.name. So that'll just pick up the device name from the iPhone or the iPad that it's playing. Next, within the makeMove function, we want to await that device move only if the game type is bot and the current player name is that player2 name, because our device will always be the second player. And then we can set up an asynchronous unit of work, which is a task, and await the completion of that device move. Now the other thing I want to do is to disable our board while that device is thinking. So back in the board disabled computed property, we can add another OR case for isThinking. In game view then, our device is always going to be player 2. And if we decide that we want the device to start playing first, when we tap on that button, we'll have to initiate that device's move, but only if the game is a bot. And we'll do that in the action for the second button, and it has to be embedded in a task unit of work. Well, now while the device is thinking, we can display an overlay over the disabled board using an overlay modifier on that VStack, which contains the 3 rows of 3 squares. So within the overlay, if the game is thinking, I'm going to create a VStack And then for the first item, I'll create a text view just using the string thinking ... but I'm going to surround it with spaces to push it out on the sides. And then I'll give it a foreground color of color system background. And then I'm going to apply a background of a rectangle using the fill of the color primary. And then I'll add my progress view. The one final thing we need to do then is to make sure that the user does not tap on a square while the game is thinking or about to think. So just be careful, in square view, we can surround the button action with a not game is thinking. So let's see if this works. I can go to the start view now and select our new game mode. I only have to enter my name, and when it's done, I can tap the Start Game button. If I tap the iPhone 14 Pro, in my case, button to start, it immediately starts to think and then make a move. Whoa, that was quick. It's my turn now, so I can make a move, and quickly, too quickly I think, the iPhone makes its move. I don't think I'm sleeping long enough. So let me return to the game service. And I'm going to extend that sleep to 1 million from 100,000 nanoseconds. So let me try this one more time. We'll select the challenger device and I'll enter my name once more and start the game. I'll let the iPhone start again, and this time the thinking is much more obvious and the game board's locked up until it makes its move and passes on to player 1, which is me. So I can continue to play and the device will play and we'll continue on until we get a winner. So let's play a new game. This time I'm going to start and I'm going to play rather badly and see if the device can win. Indeed it can. Well, that was pretty easy and this was a short video. So let's commit our changes to the Git repository now. Next up, we'll be taking our time to learn how we can create the third mode of our game playing. And that's going to be against someone who has the app installed and who is nearby. Multi-peer connectivity. This is going to require that you have an iPhone running either iOS 15 or iOS 16 available so that we can play the simulator against a real device.